Hey guys, so today I wanted to kind of share something I'm a little bit excited about, a little bit proud of, my SKS restoration. When the SKS was the first centerfire rifle that I ever purchased and ever owned. And I carried that for a couple of years before I was finally able to upgrade to a Chinese AK-47. Now keep in mind, this was in the 90s. SKSs were $100 brand new, and Mac 90s were less than twice that, about $189 brand new. And then you could get all the original furniture to restore them, this and that, really cheap. So it wasn't a big deal to purchase one back then like it is today, where you're probably going to start at almost $1,000 and go up. SKSs have went up too, and I've owned a few, but I've always wanted one that was in original condition. I found a guy that was kind of down on his luck and needed a little money, and he had Bubba'd it, and I bought it. Now let's talk about Bubba. There's two kinds of Bubbas. There's the kind of Bubba that takes an SKS and he puts a Monte Carlo stock on it and a scope on it, and he makes a sniper rifle out of it and or goes hunting with it. And then there's Bubba that really wants an AK but has an SKS and decides he's going to buy everything that Tapco ever offered and try to make it into an AK. Now I was that guy in the 1990s, and not ashamed to admit it, but what happens with these Bubba rifles is sometimes so much damage is done to them, it's hard to restore them. The guy who I bought mine from, that wasn't the case. He had put it in a folding composite stock. He had put a cheese grater handguard on it. He had put a high capacity magazine in it, and I found out later he had changed the bayonet out because that folding stock was not cut for a blade bayonet, so he put a spike bayonet on it. The problem was, when I went to restore this rifle, one, I didn't have a stock. Two, I had a 10-round magazine, but it wasn't original to the gun. Serial numbers didn't match. And three, I found out it should have been a blade bayonet, and I ended up having to buy a blade bayonet. So we're going to bring everything in a little bit closer. We're going to have a look at this rifle and talk about the rifle, my particular rifle, and some accessories that go with the rifle. So I got this cool little case out of China. I believe it's made for the SKS, and I rather like it. It's a simple non-padded canvas case. Let's have a look at the rifle. This is what everybody's interested in, I'm sure, if you've got an SKS or thinking about buying one. This rifle is a military issue rifle. You can see that here by looking at the stamps on the rifle. It was made in 1963. Arsenal 26, that's a number 26 inside that triangle stamp. And the Arsenal 26 rifles are the only ones that you can accurately date using a serial number and get an actual date out of. The other ones, you know, you can kind of conjecture and try to figure it out. But the Arsenal 26s, we know what the serial number ranges were for the different dates. And this is a 1963. Now, remember, when I got this rifle, it was in a black composite folding stock, like I said. And there's a few interesting things that maybe you guys can help me solve. One of them was that, look at the dust cover. Now, this top cover, it's a matching numbers gun. The number matches the receiver, but look how rough and pitted that is. Can you guys see that in the light? Look how rough and pitted that is. But look at the receiver right below. It's perfect. It's pristine. We've got some pitting on the bolt as well, but nowhere else on the rifle is there any pitting like that. And this has either came from this like this from the factory, or was re-blued at some point. And I just don't know. It's very strange to see it that rough of condition, though. We don't see many like that with all the rest of the metal in perfect shape. So we're going to look at a few things that will show you that this is an early made gun. One is this machine cut, lightning cut in the bolt. They call these lightning cuts. I do find it hard to believe that they shaved much weight off doing this, and which may be why they stopped doing it later on. But there's a machine cut there. You can see from this part of the barrel that this is a long collar, and it's threaded. It's not pinned. This is threaded into the receiver. Moving forward, we can see that there's a small lightning groove between the numbers on the rear sight. Also, this acrylic letter at the bottom of the rear sight shows that it's an early gun. You can tell by looking at the gas block and the shape of the gas block. and also the lightning cut right here in the bayonet lug. We have a milled receiver or milled trigger housing, and look at those milling marks on the safety lever. Those are indicative of a early rifle. Now this magazine serial number does not match. I did replace the bayonet, and the reason we knew this was originally a blade bayonet gun, some of you may be wondering, is if you look at this piece of metal, can you see that's cut into a triangle there? That triangle fits the blade of the bayonet. And if this was originally a spike bayonet gun, that triangle would be more of a U shape or square shape. You can see where that little triangle rubs on the bayonet, on the hard chroming of the bayonet right there. But I purchased a new stock for this rifle, a new upper handguard, because it had the cheese grater metal handguard. I purchased an original sling out of China that's dated for 1960s, correct for the year or the time frame. This is the same type of gun that China would have sent to Vietnam to be used during the Vietnam War, but I'm sure this one wasn't sent there. It's in just too nice of condition. Like I said, I think the guy who I bought it from bought it in the 90s. It is an import. It does have an import mark, an early import mark, and I think that it was probably not ever fired in combat. It's just in too nice of condition. But I replaced the bayonet, magazine, stock, upper handguard. Everything else to it is original, and it is a sweet, sweet shooter. So I'll show you real quick how these stripper clips load. If you pull the bolt to the rear, it should lock to the rear. The magazine follower locks that bolt to the rear. Just take a stripper clip, 10 rounds, slide it inside these teeth or this pawl on the front of the bolt, push it all the way down. It's got these little stops on the side of the stripper clip. Then the easiest way to do this is to take this bullet, this top bullet, and pull it up like that. Pull it up like that, put your thumb here, and they should strip straight down, no problem. Easy enough. Pull out the stripper clip, pull the bolt to the rear, and release it. Let it completely close under its spring tension. And this rifle is ready to fire. Simply take it off safe, and the rifle would fire until the 10 rounds are expelled, and at that point the bolt would lock to the rear. So an easy way to unload these, this mag has a magazine catch, and if you pull this catch, the whole bottom of the magazine will open up. It'll dump out 9 of those 10 rounds. We still have a round in the chamber, so this rifle will still fire. We have to make sure we manually eject that, and then look into the chamber and make sure it's empty, which it is. So that's an easy way to safely unload these SKSs with factory magazines. Let's look at some of the equipment that these have. Support equipment that the military would have issued. This is a standard SKS chest rig. We've all seen these. They're not very expensive. They'll hold a couple of stripper clips a piece, and stripper clips each hold 10 rounds of ammunition. And this last pouch is larger than the other pouches, and this is for your cleaning supplies. So in here I've got an original Chinese oil bottle. You could keep oil or grease in these, and just a rag. And in the butt plate here, we of course have a cleaning kit, same as that used on AKs really. And inside here you've got a few different components. You've got that's for cleaning out your gas port and adjusting your front sight. Oh man, this might be too greasy for me to even get a hold of. There we go. So we've got a bore brush, a bore jag. You can wrap string or cloth around this to clean out dirty bore. We've also got, if you unhook your bayonet, cleaning rods. So everything you need to clean this rifle or serve this rifle is in the rifle. And that's what's great about these combat guns. You don't have necessarily a separate cleaning kit on most of them. It's all right here in the rifle and travels with the rifle. Aside from your oil, but you could use diesel fuel or motor oil or anything else to clean these guns if you were in a real jam. And I can promise you that soldiers in third world countries have certainly done that. Okay guys, well I'm going to keep it kind of short and sweet. You guys have any idea about what caused this pitting on the dust cover? I'd love to see your comments below. If you've got an SKS, tell me your story. I know these are super popular, not just in the United States, but also in Canada. And again, thanks again for viewing, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing your comments.